All right, welcome into this week's edition of Midway Coach's Corner. For those of you under quarantine, we thought we'd give you something to do. Coach Foster, head women's coach. I'm Joe Krupinski, head men's basketball coach here at Midway. Coach, how's it going?
Going good, and just so people know, we have not closed this to viewership, so anybody wants to come down and be part of the live audience, and we are still open at the Coach's Corner.
As we talked about, here we have a campaign here, because not to make light of it, I mean, it's important. It's something that we got to take seriously with this coronavirus deal, and but there's a the Wash Your Hands campaign featuring LL, our mascot, our Eagle mascot. I thought it should have been Wash Your Wings. Cover your beak, wash your wings.
Wash your wings.
So we're still working on the messaging, but obviously we soldier on here on the Coach's Corner.
Exactly.
And as always, we kind of recap this past week. It was spring break, so a lot of teams were in action. Coach, golf kicked it off down in Gulf Shores, Alabama. Men came in 6 out of 8. Excuse me. Women came in 7 out of 9. Will Mullen and Emily Hill on the men's and women's side, respectively, were both golfers of the week.
Right. Yeah, I think the teams placed okay, but obviously those two had really good weeks and played really well.
Yeah, we've had Midway big individual award week, Coach. Back following up on the lack of awards for women's basketball, they felt bad.
Yes, after my plea of how we had not been treated fairly in postseason awards, we are now
in the in-season awards. We're sweeping up 7 players of the week this week in Midway. Well, also, and we're going to have both these people on here in the next segment, which is exciting. Men's and women's tennis went down to the USTA National Campus in Orlando. Men came in 5 and 3, women 2 and 5. Claire Smith on the women's side and John Thomas Hayden, not JT, but John Thomas Hayden, were both the tennis players of the week.
Good deal. Congratulations to them.
That's great. Softball went down to Myrtle Beach. Braved the elements. I understand it was kind of tough down there.
I have some softball players in my class, and I asked them how they enjoyed the warm weather, and they said they didn't have any.
They were still looking for it.
Yep, it was awfully cold in Myrtle Beach.
Well, they were 5 and 2, though, so it was a pretty good effort on the diamond anyway.
It's conducive to winning.
I guess so. Matt
3 and 2. 3 and 2. I'm sorry. 3 and 2.
Oh, I'm getting breaking news.
Breaking news.
3 and 2. 3 and 2 on the trip.
Still a winning record.
Yeah, they had a couple rained out. I think was the problem. Madison Ludwig was the pitcher of the week in the River States, which is the second person on our roster to win a pitcher of the week award.
We have quite the dominant pitching staff.
I guess so. Well, not so much against Montreat, because we came back home and Montreat, a really strong program, got us in a couple yesterday at home. So, but obviously softball off to a decent start there, and yes, the pitching. I think, as we know in softball, a lot of it's about pitching.
A lot of it's about pitching.
So that's exciting, for us going forward. Baseball had a tough time here at home against University of Northwestern Ohio. Always one of the best programs in the country, and they played like it. And I guess
the NASCAR mechanics.
It's kind of hard when they because the pit crew is it's too hard to maneuver around them on the base paths, but. Or maybe that's what it is. Maybe they just run passes on the base. But we lost a 4-game set to them here at home. I know I got out there a little bit that second day, but man, and I know we've been talking enough, but that the park is really beautiful.
It's really nice. And it seems to get better all the time. They're still working on it, so every day you go out there.
Is the video board going up? Did I see that?
I have not. I've seen
scoreboard.
Scoreboard. I'm sorry.
Not video board.
I'm sorry.
Dylan's still in the fundraising for the video.
Excellent. All right, you send your donations to Dylan for that. Volleyball had a tough first couple matches this past week. Lost to Cumberland here at home, Cumberland, Tennessee, in 5. Went out to St. Lucia College of Pharmacy, lost in 5 to William Penn, and then beat the Eutectics in 3. So a 1 and 2 week for volleyball. Adrian Constant, yet again, this is becoming redundant. Adrian Constant, yet again, the attacker of the week in men's volleyball.
They may have to name an award for him.
Maybe they should
kind of like
Lombardi Trophy.
Well, kind of like they've named the SID of the year in River State.
After Dylan Brown. Right. So maybe this is the Adrian Constant award.
Adrian may be on the path to have the award named.
It could be. And Gavin and Daya, the setter of the week. Both of those, their 4th time getting each of the awards. So there haven't been. I mean, it's only been so many weeks of the season. So.
They're dominating.
Great job.
Dominating the individual awards.
Great job by them. And the only other thing I think we had this past week, Coach, was Brent Newcomer went out and wrestled in the national tournament, Wichita, Kansas, and represented Midway pretty well. Didn't come back with a win, but just making it to that level is pretty. You know a little bit more on the Midwest about wrestling.
And as a native of Missouri, I can tell you, if you went into Kansas, they probably cheated. So I'm sure Brent didn't get the fair match, but that's what you got to know every time you cross that border. that's what happens.
All right. Well, if recruiting anybody in Kansas, though, just fast forward through that segment. All right. Well, it was a busy week, and we've got another one coming up here. We'll talk more at the end. But coming up next, we talk about men's and women's tennis.
Yeah, really excited to have Coach Reyes on.
Yeah, bring on Joe Reyes, our head coach, and our two reigning First States Conference Players of the Week. So come on back. We'll talk all about the tennis programs right after this. All right, welcome back into this week's edition of Midway Coach's Corner, and we're having a ball over here with Midway Tennis this week.
Here.
That's right. Joe, we welcome in our guest this week, Joe Reyes, our fourth-year head coach here at Midway, along with two of his athletes, Claire Smith, the junior from Lexington, right here in Lexington, Kentucky, and John Thomas, I was told not to say JT, John Thomas Hayden, the sophomore from Owensboro, Kentucky, out of Owensboro Catholic. Coach and ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the corner.
Thank you.
Glad to have you all on.
Yeah, so we're back into the spring portion of your season. Tennis, before we talk about your trip here, Coach, tell us a little bit about how the season is split up, because you're one of the rare sports where you have matches that count both semesters, correct?
Yeah. So we have a non-traditional fall season, which we use a lot for just trying to figure out what kind of talent we have on our team, little different rotations, doubles, pairings. That's a lot of the time where we try and figure out, get a lot of playing time in, see who's a practice player, who's a match player, and then in the spring we really dive into conference play, right? That's when it really comes down to, all right, the players who are going to play, this is when it really comes down to shine. And so that's really kind of how the two seasons are split. A lot of the main stuff is done in the spring, but fall is just kind of like a warm-up and tune-up.
Gotcha.
Okay, so Coach, tell us a little bit about what are you expecting here this spring season in conference? How do you feel like you're going to fare? Who's the favorites to win the conference? And who are some players we should be looking out for to do really well for Midway?
Yeah. Well, as always, I think Asbury and on the guys' side, Asbury is going to be a favorite along with Southeast. Last year we fell very short, or just short of third place finish, which would have been an all-time high for us on the men's side. On the women's side, it's going to be kind of the same thing. East and Southeast switch there, where Asbury is going to be the favorite. East is a little bit stronger on the women's side, and we're going to be hopefully fighting for that third, fourth spot. Players to look out for, obviously, are going to be JT and Claire.
Well, it's fortunate that they're here. We picked some good guests.
JT has really come a long way.
John Thomas, John.
Sorry, yes. John Thomas has really come a long way as a player. When I saw that he was awarded the conference player of the week this week, for me that was kind of a fruition of all the time and energy that we've worked on the court and off the court together, and so he's someone that I feel like has really found his stride, found his confidence, and someone that I know that will give a lot of problems to players in the conference. On the guys' side as well, I think Sean Tran, he didn't have the greatest of starts in the fall season. But I think he's practicing harder than ever, he's more dedicated than ever, and he's really shown a lot of grit. He's shown a lot of grit in this last spring. And then kind of another player for me that's really kind of done his time, paid his time on the bench is Travis Troop out of Lexington Catholic. Okay. Gave him some playing time on spring break. And he's really honestly shined more than I couldn't be happier with the performance that and really a couple players were like all he needed was varsity playing time, and that really kind of helped him blossom and develop his game. So on the guys' side there's that. On the women's side, I think Claire obviously is going to be a standout player for us. Was a standout player at Carson Newman, and was a very good addition to our program this year. Carly Post is going to be another one to watch for, one of the leaders on the team, just a very strong tournament player, came in playing basically exclusively USTA tournaments growing up, and then had an amazing strong first year, and this past spring just really kind of returned back to form. And then the last one will be Erin Biasi out of Paducah. She is a junior, and just really I feel like is again finding form. You know, a lot of her first year and second year was building confidence. Like, she's an incredible player. She probably has the biggest forehand on the team, guys and girls included. But a lot of that confidence was just not there, and I feel like she's had some big wins against teams that no one else on our team has won, and she's able to win. So I know it's in there. It's just really about maintaining that focus and that confidence.
Great.
Yep.
So now you guys are coming off your spring break trip, which you went to Orlando to the USTA National Campus, correct? Men finished, from what I understand, from our crack staff and sports information, told me you finished 5-3 on the men's side and 2-5 on the women's side. Claire, how was the trip for you personally, and how do you think the team developed down there?
Personally, I thought it was good because it was a lot of match play, and we prepared really well for it. And I just think it was really good to have. I mean, we had 4 matches a day, 2 doubles, 2 singles, so I think it helped with our endurance and conditioning, and it's really going to prepare us well for our conference matches coming up. Yeah.
John, how'd the trip go for you? And again, congratulations on the award for Player of the Week for the conference. So tell us a little bit about how it went for you and the guys team.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good week. Like Claire stated, we've been practicing very hard all for Florida to get ready for the season, and just putting all that practice into matches actually, and working out all these kinks and stuff before conference play starts is a really good help. So she said, we're playing 4 matches a day between doubles and singles, and so having a chance to put all we've worked on in practice and to increase our endurance and stuff like that is a big help for the team. And getting some close wins with teams that are on our level, if not better, is a good confidence booster before conference play and regular season.
Okay. So, yeah, for both of you now, how do you feel that the team has developed over the break? Because it's, Coach and I, we have a break in the middle of the year. It's only a couple weeks. You guys are break, a few months where you don't get back to on the court. How has that transition been back to practicing and playing? And have you seen development within your team from the fall to the spring season?
Definitely, I think that for the girls especially, we're a lot mentally tougher more than anything. And I think that's what this week showed was we can fight no matter the circumstance, and we're just getting mentally tougher by the day.
Yeah, I agree. Like we said, our break is 2 months long before our seasons, and so it's really easy to get to slow down and stop working. But it was good to see the guys during that break really kept going, pushing. We had workouts all off season, so they kept a good mentality, and it really showed over Florida that we've been working hard, and it's starting to pay off, and we're starting to see some results.
All right. Well, as usual, Dylan sent out the tweet earlier today that Coach Reyes was going to be on, and you people responded with a flood of questions. So we are excited to get to some of these viewer questions. Craig in Iowa for Coach Reyes. Craig coming through always with great questions. How is has your philosophy, recruiting, or coaching style changed since you've been at Midway? This is your first job as a head coach, and so since you started to now, and if so, how has that happened? How has it changed?
Yeah, I think my coaching philosophy has changed in some ways and hasn't in others. I think one of the things that I try and always cultivate in my players is confidence in themselves, and I think that my scheduling reflected that early on. It was playing a lot of teams that we could beat, a lot of easier teams, so that heading into conference, our confidence is high. But then always when we got to conference, it'd be like, all right, well, we're just not tough enough, right? We're not tough. We're confident in ourselves, but we're not tough enough. And then it really took a lot of tough players coming in. Again, I'm recruiting some of the best players that I can find, and coming in saying, we got our butts kicked last year in Florida, but as we were getting our butts kicked, I was watching them oh my goodness, we are playing so good. Mm-hmm. We are playing so good. And it took 2 years for finally to click for me. It was yes, I want to win. Yes, record is important, but it's more important for them to feel confident in their game. It's more important for them to grow as players and people, and they're only going to be doing that if they're challenged. And so that really kind of reflected in the scheduling this year, where it's literally just the hardest matches I could find, right? Okay. And then, so I feel like that's one of the biggest changes. One of the biggest changes I felt in my coaching philosophy.
Kind of along that, we had a question from Anonymous out there. Frequent texter.
Anonymous, yeah. Is he or she back?
Yes, looks like, and to send a question in for Coach Reyes, kind
Okay.
of along the same lines. Does your team follow a motto or a mantra? Y'all have a little slogan or saying, and if so, how do you implement
Well,
that?
let's see, hold on, let's ask the players. Do you have one of those?
Do you have one?
Yes.
What is it?
What is it?
Grit.
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 Grit,
Jen-
yeah.
That's pretty to the point.
Yeah.
So what's that mean, and
Yeah.
where do you come up with that, Coach Reyes?
So grit was actually given to me by a fellow coach of mine, and
It's taken a long time to
yeah.
come up with it.
No, yeah, no, like I
I mean, is it grit as we all know it, or is it like
Yeah.
it
So-
stands for something?
No, so
No,
it's
yeah,
grit as we all know it,
Grit
but,
as we
but
all
it's
know.
it's put into words that grit is, but you've never really verbalized, right?
Oh, okay.
So
Such as?
grit is it's driven by love, inspired by vision and purpose, fueled by optimism and belief, powered by faith and hope, kept alive by resilience. Revived by resilience, kept alive by stubbornness, and if we're honest, includes some fear of failure and desire to prove oneself. And so that is what grit, and that is what's driven our team literally in the last month. Like in the last month, I found that I 100% bought into it. I loved it, and I think I got the players to really get into it, and I think it's something that really fuels us on a daily
That's
basis.
good. Sounds like something you get uber excited about.
Yeah, that's, I would say, some may say that, I don't know if I would, but some may say that. I think what that proves though is that grit is not what we all know.
True.
That was pretty good.
That was
Pretty
good.
thing, yeah. We have to rewatch that and try to use some of that for next year for our team. I have a pair of questions here that are kind of related, I think. John in Sylvania, Ohio, wants to know from Coach Reyes. Coach Reyes is a popular person. Wants to know, what is your favorite food to eat before a match on game day? I think we can ask the athletes this too. But along those lines, Linda in Westland, Michigan, kind of backing that up, asked Coach Reyes, who makes the best menudo soup you've ever had?
So who makes the best menudo soup is obviously my dad. My dad, every time I go back home,
Is that a recipe you share, you just give out to anybody, or is
No,
it it's closely guarded?
It's closely guarded, yes.
Okay.
You think Linda in Michigan would like that recipe? I've heard at times that might be something. No?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I'll be sharing that.
Oh, okay. You heard it here. It's on tape.
Yes. And my favorite thing to eat before a match is I honestly lose my appetite before matches, so I don't really eat a lot. I just kind of like snack and nibble on things that I can find if I'm reminded.
Well, it's good. That's good for the budget, I guess. How about you guys? Do you have some, maybe not food, but do you have a routine before your matches, or?
Something like, special
You get ready?
food or something that you do different?
I'm
to
kind
get
of saying,
ready?
I don't really like to eat a whole lot for my matches because I'm kind of nervous, but if I do, I'll eat like a banana.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
What about you?
I have a routine like so. The night before, I eat chicken and rice every night.
Every night.
And
All right.
like that day of matches, I like a shake with like banana, peanut butter, oats, egg, and protein. And I eat the same thing every time.
Eat the same thing before every match?
That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, that's good. That's good.
There's a routine.
Perfect. I think, we got to head out here in a minute, Coach. But I'm going to finish with. John in Sylvania may have another question, but before we do that, talk to me a little bit, because we actually discuss this, Coach and I have some discussions sometimes, which are really helpful for me too. We talk about our teams and our approaches and whatnot, so those are really beneficial as a coach for me. Hopefully it is for him, but you talk about this board you have, and talk to me, I think it's an interesting concept. Tell me a little bit, I see you walking around the board, I call you the chairman of the board. So tell me about the board and how you've used that in practice.
Yes. So, again, I guess it goes into a coaching philosophy of mine that's developed as I've gotten better players and, always finding ways to get better. I always used to make the lineup based off of, who's best most consistently, right? That's usually who makes most of your team's lineups, like who's best most consistently. And we really kind of underperformed in the fall as a guys team. On the girls team, I thought we did spectacular. So I really wanted to make the team a little bit more competitive. I really wanted them to feel like, even though it always was, I really wanted them to see the lineup as something is in their control and not something that's in my control. And I've told them all the time, you make the lineup, not me, but now they're actually seeing a board where they're ranked, right? And so I've kind of set it up like a soccer table where blowout wins are where 3 in a blowout win consists of winning 2 sets and losing no more than 3 games. A win is just a win over it, and then a competitive loss, which is winning a match or losing a match, collecting 8 games or more over the 2 or 3 sets. And that's something that really, like, as soon as the players saw that and I was like pitching it to them, I was like, again, I kind of, every time I come up with these ideas, I always want to get a couple coaches' opinions and see like, where are the holes in it? Like, is this something, I bought into it, is this something that you would buy in? Is this something that the players would buy in? And I was pitching it to the guys' team, and I could just literally see their eyes light up, like, this fire, this hunger, like, oh my God, I'm gonna prove myself, I'm gonna prove where I belong on this ladder. And so that's been an ongoing thing for us. So normally, you know, I would say, you asked me a year ago, you asked me 6 months ago, you're like, oh, do you like a ladder system? I'm like, no, I think a ladder system is silly and stupid. But when the players see it every single day and they see their number, I put the board up in practice every day so they can see where they rank.
See where they're at.
And so every time that they're slacking or not moving their feet or something, I'm like, where are you on that board and why are you not working harder?
Right.
You know, so it really just provides a little more extra motivation for themselves every single day.
So follow
Some analytics, perhaps.
Some analytics.
If you
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, something Dylan is well versed in.
Yes.
So follow-up question, Ed. I know in the summer you have a open tennis tournament here, fundraiser.
Oh man, Coach is stealing my question. I was going to talk about.
So I wanted to know, because I know Coach Kapinski plays it.
Yeah.
Where would he be on the board?
Yeah, we're.
Where would you rank?
And before you answer, keep in mind that Coach Reyes and I were a doubles team and we didn't win. We didn't win. I'm not saying it was my fault necessarily. So that year? So where would I be on the board?
You would.
Would I need another board? Would we need to put another board in there?
Yeah. So I have a big board and I
I'd
have
be
a
on the
small
small
board.
board? Yeah.
You'd be at the bottom of
It's
the
like
small.
it's like Thanksgiving with the kids here. Yeah, that's a bounce back.
Okay.
That sounds all right. All right. Well, I think that we've heard enough from him. We appreciate tennis coming on the corner this week. When's our first chance for the home crowd to see the tennis team?
Yeah, so we play actually on Saturday. We play at Top Seed Tennis Club in Nicholasville. We play St. Louis College of Pharmacy. It should be a good match.
The Eutectics again.
The Utah.
2 weeks in a row with matchups with the
Yes.
Eutectics. That's great.
Yes, and then we play at Center College in Danville.
Oh, okay.
Just following that, so.
Just down the road, an easy jaunt down the road.
An easy,
So,
easy trip.
all right, well, again, be on the lookout for men's and women's tennis this spring, starting Saturday against St. Louis College of Pharmacy at Top Seed Academy in Nicholasville. Look up, check your GPS. I don't have an address on that, but again, thanks, Claire, JT, Coach. Thanks for coming in this week, and we'll be right back and talk about everybody's favorite segment, FaceTime with Dylan, right after this. Okay, the coronavirus panic has not stopped Dylan from showing up here in close quarters to film everybody's favorite segment, FaceTime with Dylan. Dylan, welcome back into the corner.
How we doing, gentlemen?
We're doing a spring break?
It was spring. I thought it was. I thought we were like middle of winter out there based on some of the weather we've had, but it's warmed up here lately.
As the self-proclaimed, this isn't on sheet, but as the self-proclaimed savant of 5th Region basketball, do you want to speak about that at all before we get
5th
into
Region
it?
basketball. Let's see. The girls. It was E-Town. E-Town took down the Banshees. I was rooting for the Banshees, obviously, because they're in Bardstown. Why not? And then tonight.
Guys' games tonight.
Tonight, yes.
So E-Town's looking for a double dip then?
They're looking for a double dip.
Wow.
The guys take on Bardstown. So Bardstown.
Battle of the Bluegrass Parkway then.
Go Tigers. That's the only time you'll ever hear me say go Tigers.
All right.
So-
All right. Well, we do have some questions. Before we started filming here, I did mention that this segment is kind of morphed into questions about anything but Midway athletics,
Right.
which is probably fine.
That's fine.
You know, which is fine.
Yeah.
And Sarah in Southville kicks it off for Dylan. Sarah wants to hear Dylan's take on Love is Blind in the reality TV segment of the show. Dylan, can you tell us anything about Love is Blind?
She also threw in the hashtag Jessica is the worst, so I don't know Jessica, but it sounds like Jessica is the worst. I have not seen that one. I'm still trying to get caught up on The Bachelor and stuff like that.
Well, now, as we talked about last week, we were going to try to push this off till tomorrow so we can get your take on the entire Bachelor finale. However, scheduling conflicts, we both have day jobs,
Yep.
and we wouldn't be able to do it tomorrow. And this keeps people coming back for next week's recap. Because
So this is like halftime.
Because I know I won't be able to find out what's happening until next week, until you say. So, yeah, what are the halftime adjustments need to be made in the Bachelor?
So right now, there's actually only one left. But we haven't had the final rose ceremony yet, so we don't know if she accepts the final rose or if Peter even grants her.
Was it your? All right. First of all, it's a couple points. Was it your favorite?
No, Madison self-eliminated, but
Self-eliminated.
She's self-eliminated, yes. But I will say they did throw a teaser in, a little teaser. Chris Harrison, he always stirs the pot. He threw in a little teaser where he's talking to Madison, and he was like, "Do you think you made a mistake about leaving the show?" She's like, "Yes, I did." "Well, do you still love Peter?" "Yes, she does." So, I don't know. We'll see. Again,
You'll have to come back next week.
So now Hannah is the only one who is left.
Who I understand is from Knoxville.
She is from
according
Knoxville.
to Twitter.
She was actually in Lexington last week. I heard.
I was disappointed you didn't tell us that.
I know.
Well, Dylan, I'll have to say that halftime report rivals the late Craig Sager.
That's right.
I will say one.
All we need is a bad sport coach.
I will say one other thing. Peter's parents.
Right, first of all, is Peter a commercial pilot? Did we figure that out yet?
That question has been asked.
I mean, it's been out there. I would think. Could you write that down for next week?
Yes.
We're going to know that as a finale.
I want to know that.
Commercial pilot. I don't know.
Okay.
But I will say Peter's parents, especially his mom.
Where are they from?
They are from California.
Okay.
They're from Cal. They also have some Cuban roots.
Oh, okay.
Cuban
Okay.
roots.
Excellent. Okay.
So she really wants Hannah. They're not.
That's the one that's left?
That's the one that's left. I think they kind of liked Madison, but now again I don't know because they don't think they're compatible.
Okay.
I don't agree with that, but
So you're no more about who's compatible for Peter than Peter.
I have no.
Okay.
Some may,
See, I would.
you know what, Doug? Some may say love is blind. You don't really.
Love is blind.
Yeah,
I don't know if I'm gonna watch that.
All right, this is from Mark over in the Stark Center, and he wants to know. Because Coach Foster and I don't think Mark knew this.
This is why we have to take this on Tuesday.
Coach Foster and I are heading out here to an event, recruiting in California here coming up. So I think we're both following the same itinerary. We're leaving from here, we're flying up to O'Hare, Chicago, and then out to LAX, and then to the various events that will be attended by thousands of people probably. And so Mark would want to know, A, if you've taken any precautions. I guess I got to think about this too. Any precautions to eliminate the coronavirus possibility, and two, or conversely, are you just angling for a 2-week vacation by doing it?
Well, I have not taken any precautions. My wife has told me I need to get some hand sanitizer to at least take along.
Good luck finding that.
Good luck finding that.
I don't think you can find it. I will not be wearing a mask to the airport.
Okay, that's not supposed to be helpful.
And so I'm just taking my chances. Now, what I have done, yes, as Mark pointed out to me, I am flying into Chicago and I have a couple-hour layover to be around more people.
Perfect.
And then into LAX where there's lots of people.
Oh, if you want
There are 12-lane highways.
1 or 2 probably.
Yes,
Well,
and then to the junior college tournament in California where there'll be some thousands of people there. But if I want to angle for the 2-week vacation, I've got to look for like a 3-day cruise while I'm out there so I can see if I can get quarantined on a cruise.
3-day cruise to turn into longer.
Exactly. So I'm not taking a cruise, but
Okay.
I am still traveling and going to take my chances with the coronavirus.
All right, well,
I'll recruit some players.
all of you out at the, all our California viewers, come on and say hi to us if you're out there.
Yeah.
Love to hear from you. You got another question there, Dylan?
Let's see. Corner handicap.
Okay.
Always a second favorite segment behind FaceTime with Dylan.
So it's really, it's got legs.
It's rising. It's rising. It's rising.
It's sticking out.
It's rising. It says, can the resident handicapper, I don't think that's me, I don't think that's Al. It's Joe, I believe. Give us a summary of what occurred with the indictment of the people in the horse racing industry.
Yeah, it came out yesterday.
What is your opinion on what happened?
Well, I have not read a whole lot about this. I do understand that there was a federal indictment, about 12 or 16 people in the training industry for buying and giving horses illegal substances before they race to mask issues and get them to the track and
Like
run.
HGH, human growth hormone?
No, but
Like horse growth hormone?
some maybe horse growth, yeah. Some of the stuff I think I understand is kind of worse. And so obviously there should be no place for that in horse racing.
No.
And actually, the trainer of Maximum Security
Yes.
was one of the indicted people. So
And I read today where the owner of Maximum Security fired him.
yep, he's moved him over to Bob Baffert, I think. Bob Baffert now is training Maximum Security, and so there's some. We talked all about the Dubai Cup there the other day. It was, there's some questions I'm sure are going to fair or not, whether that horse was on drugs in the Derby or out there, or so it's really a big mess. I mean, horse racing's had its share of issues here the last 6 or 8 months. For those of us that really love the sport, we don't like to see that. But in the long run, this might be good. Get all these people out of it. Maybe we can
Get some fresh new people in there.
get back to. To the horses deciding the races as opposed to the trainers. As I told somebody else yesterday who pointed a story out to me, I feel personally attacked in some ways because the FBI now has issued indictments for the two pastimes I have at all, college basketball and horse racing. We'll see if something more happens when the horse racing side than it did for college basketball. But I don't know what's next. I don't really have any other pastimes. So. But yeah, just not great news, but it is exciting. Also, for those people in the area, Breeders' Cup tickets went on sale yesterday.
Uh-oh.
General public.
Get your tickets.
So
Get your tickets.
if you have some left, I do want to highlight the good things in the sport. That's coming up here next November. It'll be over at Keeneland. So. And the Keeneland meet starts up here next month. So I'm sure Coach and I will, maybe we can have a remote from track side.
You guys stay tuned for a coach's corner.
Maybe we'll do a
vote
snippet or
from
something.
Keeneland.
Yeah, that's a good idea. That's good. I think we got one more question.
One more question, this for Dylan.
Okay.
Okay, any thoughts on IHOP's new cereal pancakes and milkshakes?
I haven't heard about this. No.
So Craig in Iowa, another frequent texter, he brought this to my attention, and apparently IHOP now has these new cereals, so you can get you like a cinnamon toast crunch, crunch berries, Lucky Charms.
They make them as milkshakes?
And milkshakes as well. Yeah.
Pancakes
So
or
you can
milkshakes?
get pancakes or milkshakes.
Or and. So they, wait a minute. So they
So you
make
get Captain Crunch pancakes.
You can get both. Yes,
Oh.
you can get Captain Crunch.
or you get a Captain Crunch milkshake.
Milkshake.
Ooh.
Yep.
Well,
Crunch berries are the best.
What's your thoughts on it?
Crunch berries seem to be your favorite?
If an IHOP was in Bardstown, I'd be all over it. Be all over it. But
Well, you heard that.
Chamber of Commerce,
There's a development opportunity in Bardstown.
get an IHOP in Bardstown. Okay.
Wow.
But next time I'm at an IHOP, which I don't know when, I guess I'll have to hop to IHOP. But
What was your take on the IHOB situation a couple years ago when they went to the burgers? Were you a fan of that?
I don't know.
No, it didn't hit your radar?
They got to stick with what they do best, which is now.
Good advice.
Cereal pancakes.
cereal pancakes at IHOP.
All right.
If you're at an IHOP, or you got an IHOP near you,
Tell them Dylan sent you. We'll be
give me your review. Hey, text line 859-846.
5327
5327.
or tweet in your questions for
Yep.
next week at Go Midway Eagles using the hashtag Coach's Corner.
Yep.
We haven't formulated the guest list for next week yet, but we'll be on the lookout. Watch Twitter for that, and I'm sure right, it's about time to get golf or somebody else on.
Yeah, that's a good thing. Golf.
So we'll have to check their schedule and.
I mean, shoot, they just won Player of the Week.
I know.
Get those.
There we go.
Get those people on.
Well, if we have every player of the week on, we'll have to extend this to like an hour and a half show. All right, we'll be right back, and we'll wrap up the show with what's coming up this week in the Eagle Empire right after this. We're back, final segment here, checking out what's happening this week in the Eagle Empire. Coach, even the people out in Alaska think this is a pretty good show.
I've heard that we're getting great reviews in Alaska, which I've been saying every week. This is really a good show.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's we were filming it. It's about we started at about 8:15 Alaska Daylight Time. So you wake up breakfast with the corner. I think
There you
they're
go.
calling it out in Anchorage.
That's what I would think we would be in a great time slot for the Anchorage audience.
That's what I hear. And I guess it's still some daylight out there. I mean, they're starting to get into the daylight now, probably, right?
That's daylight saving time.
Right. Well,
I don't know if that's where it came from.
I'm not sure. Ben Franklin. Really, I really wasn't happy with Ben Franklin this Sunday morning when I wake up that early, but it is what it is. So anyway, this week, another busy week as usual here at Midway. Baseball heads to the Diamond today down at Lindsey Wilson. To play one game, unlike the website's going to say two, but don't listen to that. As usual,
Show up for the first.
Show up for the first one. They'll be down there today on Tuesday. Okay, and then they go this weekend to another conference 3-game setup at IU Kokomo on Friday, Saturday. Kokomo's, in a short time, has become one of the best teams in the league, so.
They'll have their work cut out for them up there. I understand Kokomo's got a good squad and,
Good place to play.
yep, hopefully the weather will cooperate
Yep.
going up north. But yeah, they've got some tough games this week.
Yep. Golf is down at the Point Skyhawk Invitational in Georgia. They had day 1 yesterday. They're finishing up day 2 right now, so we'll have those results next week on the corner. Volleyball hosts the Mid-South Conference Pod this weekend. And if that doesn't sound like a recipe for the virus, I don't know.
That's where the coronavirus will be here
Let's hope.
in the Mid-South Pod.
Not to joke about that, but hopefully, they have St. Andrews on Friday at 4 in the afternoon, and Saturday we come back at noon against Reinhardt University. So those are the, come on out to Marshall Gym to check out volleyball this weekend.
Right? Good, get to see Adrian, Gavin.
Probably working on their 5th conference.
Headed to their 5th
awards
player
of the
of the
week.
week,
Yeah,
yeah.
most likely. Men's and women's tennis, as we talked about earlier with Coach Reyes. They're at home against St. Louis College of Pharmacy on Saturday, and then go down to Center College in Danville on Sunday.
Okay.
So both men's and women's tennis is there, and I know the equestrian teams are preparing for the big national tournament here coming up at the end of the month, and we're still efforting to find out what archery is up to at the moment. We're still working on
We're
that.
gonna get an update on the archers.
I could
Find
use
out what's going
that.
on.
I could use that.
I was over spring break. I went to Oklahoma, scouted out everything for our Western team.
You were on the advanced team.
I was on the advanced scout team,
Okay.
yes, and so I went out, checked things out at El Reno, and made sure everything is ready for them.
Perfect.
And I talked to a gentleman out there who assured me the wind would be blowing.
I don't think there was ever a doubt of that. So that's it. We'll be back next week. We'll get an update from Coach's trip in California. We'll see how that goes. Hopefully everybody's back safe and sound, and we'll talk all about what's happening in the Eagle Empire in the week that was next week.
I want to leave you with this. I saw this while I was on spring break on a T-shirt. I used to be a people person until the people ruined it.
So true.